Good morning. Welcome, everyone, to the Greene County Partnership's annual legislative update. I'm Ken Bailey, Greene County General Sessions and Juvenile Court Judge, and a board member of the Greene County Partnership. Now, traditionally, this is held in a large room with a breakfast, and you have the opportunity to network and meet our legislators in person. However, as we all know, times have changed, temporarily at least, hopefully, and this year's breakfast is being held virtually. You'll still have the opportunity to ask questions. Our legislators will still have the opportunity to introduce themselves and to tell you a little bit about themselves and what's going on in Nashville and in Washington, D.C. Our legislators have been very busy with lots of issues on the agenda, and we appreciate them taking their time to join us this morning virtually for our breakfast and our update. We also especially want to thank Summers Taylor for sponsoring this event. They've been our primary sponsor for a number of years, and we appreciate them for continuing to support this event. Now you will hear updates from your federal, state, and local legislators. Thank you.
Hello everyone, this is State Representative David Hawk. I've been honored to serve in our state legislature representing Greene County since 2002. I was elected in November 2002. Have been blessed to be re-elected 9 times since. So I'm beginning my 19th year in the legislative process. It's been an honor to serve and look forward to continuing the work that we do. Speaker Cameron Sexton has asked that I serve on several critical committees that are important to the process in our state government. The most important bill that we pass every year, we say, is the budget document. That is actually a piece of legislation we pass every year. And I'm able to sit on our Finance Full Committee as well as our Finance Subcommittee that we typically call the Budget Subcommittee, that really gives a deep look into the budget document, so we're able to justify all the $41 billion that we spend. I say every year at our legislative breakfast that there's $50 billion worth of asks and wants in the state budget, but our budget is lower than that. So we've got to prioritize going forward what our budget will look like. So it's typically between $40 and $42 billion that we are going to put forth. Looking at this fiscal year, that's what's going to happen this year as well. I also serve on our Insurance Committee in the House as well as chair our subcommittee on insurance. And insurance, our issues deal all over the board in terms of the insurance industry, from TennCare to property and casualty to health insurance that's across the gamut of all health insurers across Tennessee. So it's been a very interesting committee. Previously I chaired a subcommittee on TennCare that's been merged into a committee with all insurance issues coming through the subcommittee. So I'm honored to do that. I'm also the first time after 19 years serving on the Criminal Justice Committee. As most of you know, I'm not an attorney. I'm a business person by trade, but coming into the Criminal Justice Committee, listening to our district attorneys and our prosecutors as well as defense attorneys talk about criminal justice issues has been very interesting for me, and hearing some aspects of the criminal justice reform that Governor Lee hopes to work on. We'll be working on those issues in that committee. So certainly an honor to serve you and be part of the legislative process. As always, we have an open door. Want you to come to Nashville and see us if you so choose. We still have a few COVID protocols at the Cordell Hull building where we reside. Our Capitol is not necessarily open to full tours by groups. We always have our leadership groups from the Greene County Partnership that will come and visit. They've not been able to do that this year, as well as our youth leadership trips. So we've not been able to do those, but hopefully we'll get back to normal as quickly as possible. As we talk about the budget document, and that being one of the most important pieces of legislation that we deal with every year, it is. Personally, I'm working on several bills myself. One that comes to mind initially, Tennessee participates in the federal Temporary Assistance for Needy Families. The short name is the TANF program. We get $191 million in every year on the TANF program. And for whatever reason, Tennessee has accumulated an unexpended amount of money to the tune of $700 million. So I've been working with our colleagues in the House and the Senate to come up with a way to serve the purposes of TANF, which are ultimately to try to keep working families off of full-blown public assistance. These are dollars made available to working families, kind of those last dollars on um, whether it be transportation or child care, some issues like that, to help them stay out of full-blown public assistance. So we've been working hard on that. I think we've come up with a nice piece of legislation that Department of Human Services and the legislature are going to come up with, that are going to invest several $100 million in community-based, evidence-based programs that are working with our families in Greene County and across the state of Tennessee to better serve those individuals, to strengthen families, to allow them to go back to school and have an opportunity to better themselves, to have child care that may be one of the greatest impediments to them being able to work at a next better job, transportation issues. And again, these are some last dollars that working families need. It is temporary. The T in the TANF is temporary by nature, so it can only go out for 60 months. And what we want to do essentially with these TANF dollars is make the program go away. We want to invest these dollars wisely so families are helped, and so we don't have families that are in need across the state of Tennessee anymore. So that's the big goal of that. Of course, it's a perpetual need, so we're going to keep addressing that as we need to. There's many issues that we face during a day's time or a week's time when we're in legislative session from January through April. We want to hear from you. I'll give you my direct Nashville number is 615-741-7482. Shelley Adams is my legislative assistant, and she'll be happy to help and get word to me if we need to work on it. You can call my home office in Greenville is 423-639-8146. Thank you so much for watching this video and for communicating your thoughts on any issues that may come up. Thank you very much.
Hey, I'm Jeremy Faison. I'm the state representative for the 11th House District, and I do get the awesome privilege of representing a very small portion of Greene County. I represent from the South Greene basically to Mohawk, where Yoder's is, and I go there often. It's a wonderful place. In the legislature, I'm in the leadership team. You have the Speaker of the House, the Majority Leader, and the caucus chair, and I am the caucus chair. And it's probably been one of the neater honors to be able to work and be a part of shaping policy for the legislature as a whole and for all 73 Republicans. I serve on the Finance, Ways, and Means Committee, member of the Banking and Consumers Affairs Committee, Calendar and Rules, Commerce Committee, and Government Operations Committee. So every week when we're in session from January basically to the end of April. We are in committees every week, filing bills, doing what we can to make Tennessee friendly for businesses, safe for your children, and overall continue being the best state in America. Just tell you a few things about our state. If you look, you would see that U.S. News World Report rates us as one of the top business-friendly states in America. We have the lowest debt of any state government in America. If you happen to live in Tennessee, you have the least amount of government debt, which is big, which is great for you. We've passed laws and set policies out that make Tennessee very attractive. And people who want to retire and be able to keep the majority of their money, they're retiring here. Now that does come at dangers because we don't want them to retire from California or New England and because the taxes are so high and come vote the same way. No offense to anybody that'd be offended by that, but we like the way we do it right here, and we have low taxes for a reason. We have the best roads in America, and our education is growing every year. We're doing some really good things. And when you get to the end of this, I want you to know one thing, and I tell everybody when they come up here, you walk around this Capitol like you own it. Do you know why? Because you do. And it's really hard for me to kind of tell you everything we're doing over a 5-minute video, but I want you to know this place belongs to you. And you are so welcome to come up here. If you call my office, 615-741-6871, you're going to get a hold of Tara. You can set up a time. I'll give you a tour of this place, let you see exactly what we're doing. Bring me an idea for a piece of legislation. I want you to know as you watch this video that you have ownership at the Capitol. You have ownership in this office. My name is on the door of this office, but I know who owns it. You own it, and you're the ones who sent me here, and I'm thankful for that. So thank you for joining in with us today. If you have any questions at all about things we're doing, please feel free to reach out to us. Call us, and we'll do everything we can to take care of you and make sure that you understand that we work for you. It's not the other way around. God bless you. Thanks for joining today.
Hello, Greene County Partnership. This is Steve Sutherland, your state senator. I'd like to thank you for allowing me to be your senator. This is the 19th year that I've had the opportunity to serve you. Just to let you know that I still serve on the same committees that I have in the past. I'm the chairman of the Energy, Agriculture, and Natural Resource Committee, which agriculture is the number one industry in the state, and under this also is tourism, which is the number two industry in the state. When we look at a few of the things that we've done for Greene County in the past few years, we've improved the Davy Crockett State Park over a couple $1 million anyway. That's been added improvements to that area. One of the things, we've upgraded the campgrounds to 50-ounce fuses, which and we have put in a reservation system also, and paved the roads in the area. Also, we have improved the Davy Crockett birthplace area and made it more historically accurate. So that's one thing that we've done in Greene County in the past year or so, which has improved tourism into the area also. Another item that we've done is we've built the shooting range that TWRA has helped fund. That is another department that is under my chairmanship. And we've put in a couple $1 million into that. And now Greene County has the best shooting range in the state of Tennessee. And so this helps bring tourism in from all across the state, and even different states are coming to use these facilities. For example, the state park visitation is up over 100% in Tennessee state parks, and especially with the pandemic, people like to get out and enjoy things. Also, I'd like to congratulate Greene County on, I know one of their industries going to announce an extra 79 jobs in the near future, and I'll just wait and let the industry make that announcement. And again, thank you for allowing me to be your state senator.
I want to say hello to all my friends and family and neighbors in Greene County. It's great to join you, even if it's virtually. I want to take a quick moment and let you know what's been going on up here in D.C. I'm proud to serve on the Education, Labor, and Homeland Security committees. Both of these issue areas are important to East Tennessee and the country. On Ed and Labor, I was appointed to the Health, Employment, Labor, and Pensions and the Higher Education and Workforce Investment subcommittees. What a mouthful. I look forward to focusing on workforce development issues in particular and trying to attract well-paying jobs to East Tennessee. We must focus workforce development programs like apprenticeships and other unique educational programs on matching student skill sets with the needs of our 21st century economy. This will help increase economic development in our communities. On the Homeland Security Committee, I was appointed to the Cybersecurity and Oversight subcommittees. I look forward to working with my colleagues on addressing the numerous critical threats to our homeland. These range from cybersecurity attacks by our adversaries to over-reliance on foreign supply chains for prescription medications to the crisis on our southern border. I'm also proud to announce that I introduced my first bill in March, the Pharmacy Benefit Manager Accountability Study Act of 2021. Pharmacy Benefit Managers, or PBMs as they're called, are the middlemen who negotiate payments between health insurers, pharmacies, and drug companies. They also determine which drugs are covered and what prices are set, and the pharmacy networks and prescription drug reimbursement rates. My bill calls for a study into ways to increase transparency of PBMs and improve their operations to help reduce prescription drug prices, which will benefit all Americans. I also want to note a couple of things I'm doing to help out in the economic development here in East Tennessee that you might be interested to hear about. I recently voted against the PRO Act, which would repeal the state's right to work laws like ours in Tennessee. This would harm our businesses and slow our economic development when our focus should be on economic recovery from COVID. I have also co-sponsored the Main Street Tax Certainty Act. This bill would ensure that millions of our small businesses continue to maintain tax parity with large corporations by making permanent the 20% pass-through small business deductions that is set to expire in the next coming years. And finally, I signed on to the Opportunity Zone Extension Act to extend the Opportunity Zone incentives deferral deadline by 2 years. This would give investors extra time to support new projects and businesses, encouraging higher levels of investment in response to COVID-19, helping these communities rebound more quickly. Lastly, I want to let you know that my staff and I are always here to help you. If there's anything we can assist you with, like contacting a federal agency on your behalf or information on grants and federal relief programs you or your business may be eligible for, please don't hesitate to reach out. My office website is harshberger.house.gov. Thanks again for letting me provide you with an update on how I'm representing you here in Washington. I look forward to when we're able to meet in person soon.
I wish I was there with you in person, and I am so disappointed that I'm not. Hopefully soon we will all be able to gather together in person, but I know we're all becoming accustomed to video and Zoom meetings, and I want to congratulate you all on the partnership and the good work that you are doing there in Greene County as we are holding our virtual meetings with elected officials. We're hearing some great reports out of the state of Tennessee, and honestly, I believe it is because we have such strong leadership at the local and state level that we are coming out of this ahead of most other states in the country. So I congratulate you all. A couple of updates. We've heard from many of you about this American Recovery Act or the COVID relief bill or the bailout bill. It's called all three things. It is the $1.9 trillion that was recently passed in the Senate. It was done in the name of COVID relief. But yes, you are correct. Not much of that money does go to COVID. Only 9% of the bill actually goes into vaccines and COVID relief and vaccine distribution and healthcare workers and getting shots into arms, things of that nature. There was already $1 trillion in the pipeline that could have been reprogrammed to meet that, but instead 91% of the bill goes to things like money for the arts and humanities and transportation, logistics. There's money that goes for loan forgiveness for socially disadvantaged farmers and for students. There is, yes indeed, a 15-week, believe it or not, leave that is paid to federal workers who have to take care of their children because their children are not going back to school because the teachers' unions are not going back to the classroom. There's also the $350 billion that is set aside for state and local governments. Now, the interesting thing about that is, yes, they changed the formulary, and if you have high unemployment, you're going to get more money. That is why it is termed the blue state bailout, because the majority of the money is going to go to your blue states and blue cities. New York State is going to get tens of billions of dollars, and yes, you're right, it is unfair. Now, we did get $3 billion in block grants for mental health and substance abuse. I do know that is important to you all. There is over $7 billion that is going into the Paycheck Protection Program. This is now open to more small businesses and nonprofits, small nonprofits. But the large cash-rich nonprofits like unions and Planned Parenthood, they still are not eligible for those dollars. It is reserved for your small businesses and nonprofits, small nonprofits. We authorized $15 billion for targeted EIDL loans, with $5 billion of that set aside for entities with 10 or fewer employees. And as some of you are aware, we did the legislation, I authored a provision that passed back in December that will allow those EIDL loans to be kept separate from the PPP so that you are not penalized there. We also have almost $30 billion in grant funding that is specifically for restaurants, bars, and the live entertainment venues. So one thing we were able to accomplish was stopping that $15 an hour minimum wage. I have heard from many of you. I know that is completely unworkable. We are with you in this fight, and we're going to continue to oppose that. When I was checking our mail and what we were hearing, I know several in Greene County have written being concerned about the border crisis. Every town's a border town. Every state is a border state when you have an open border. And yes, indeed, our counties in Tennessee are already seeing the impact of fentanyl that is coming back into communities, sex trafficking, human trafficking that is coming back into our state. So we are pushing forward to try to get the administration to block the illegal entry at that southern border, to keep the migrant protection protocols that President Trump had in place, to continue to work with Mexico on the Remain in Mexico policy. And I hope that you all will keep up with us through our newsletter. You can sign up at blackburn.senate.gov or follow us on social media at Marsha Blackburn, and we'll keep you posted on what is happening with those. One more note as we wrap up: China. We do hear about the impact of China on Tennessee businesses, as China has built an industry out of taking intellectual property from Tennessee companies. It's a process called rob, replicate, and replace. And we continue to work to protect our companies. We also know that many of our furniture manufacturers are being hard hit by Chinese imports, and we continue to focus on those issues to protect jobs that are in our state. Thank you so much for allowing me to join you today.
So we've come to the end of our virtual legislative forum. We again want to thank all of our legislators for taking time out of their busy schedules to join us today so that they could answer your questions and hear your concerns about our state, local, and federal laws. Again, we want to thank Summers Taylor for sponsoring the event today. Hopefully the next time that we have our legislative question and answer session, we will be able to be live and in person. We hope everyone has a great day.